The fourth round of the Formula One season is set in Bahrain, a place where numerous exciting developments are expected. After the preseason testing, we're heading back to Sakir, but this time under much different and hotter conditions. With the track conditions changing, we have to reconsider what to expect, not only from the layout but also from the upgrades that teams will bring to the race. One major point of focus will be Ferrari. They've promised a floor upgrade that should unleash the potential they've been aiming for based on their preseason testing and simulator runs. However, there's a catch. The preseason testing was done in unusually cool weather, and now that the temperatures will be much higher, this could change everything. We're going to see how much that cold weather performance really translates when the heat kicks in. 2. Break it down simply. We need to think about factors like tire wear, the abrasiveness of the asphalt, and the overall evolution of the track during the weekend. Even though the asphalt is pretty old, it still has a high level of abrasiveness, which is crucial, especially when considering the long braking zones that are a hallmark of this circuit. This kind of challenge is exactly what the pit strategists will have to plan for, because tire management will be key in this race. The surface provides great grip, but sand blowing onto the track could throw a wrench into the plans. Wear and graining might not cause many issues, but teams will definitely have to think about thermal degradation. With tire stress and lateral forces rated at 3 out of 5 and braking difficulty up to 4, it's going to be a tough battle for both drivers and their tires. Another key element to watch will be the track temperatures, which are expected to be significantly higher than what we saw during preseason testing. Last Sunday, the temperatures were under 20 with XU, but for the upcoming weekend, we can expect temperatures to rise to around 30 XU. This difference will undoubtedly affect tire degradation, which is a concern for most teams. However, McLaren seems to have found a way to build a car that works well across various conditions. McLaren is facing a unique challenge in Bahrain, but it's not because of tire wear. They've yet to win the Bahrain Grand Prix, despite this being considered their home race. With a dominant car on their hands, many believe a victory should be easy, but as we saw in Suzuka, it's not always as straightforward as it seems. They're still up against Verstappen and the Red Bull RB21, which remains a formidable opponent. In addition, McLaren's team principal, Andreas Stella, has been vocal about the significance of this race. Last year, the Bahrain GP was described as their second home race due to the involvement of Mumilicat, the entity that took full ownership of McLaren and holds a majority stake in the F1 team. The pressure is on for McLaren to finally break their Bahrain curse and secure a victory. However, considering the strength of Red Bull's performance in Suzuka, it seems like it might be tougher than they anticipated. Stella's comments about Verstappen emphasize the complexity of this season's challenge. He's aware that while Max is currently making a big difference on track, it won't always be sustainable throughout the season without the best car. In his words, the key to both championships lies in having the best car, and when that's not possible, the next best thing is to consistently finish on the podium. With the race calendar stretching across 24 events, maintaining top performances will require a competitive car, not just a standout driver. This brings us to Verstappen's position in the drivers' standings. Despite the Dutchman having the longest win streak in the sport's history, that run ended in the last race of 2024. Now, he's just 1 point behind Lando Norris, who's leading the standings. Verstappen has scored all 61 of Red Bull's points in 2025, making this Bahrain race crucial for him to regain the lead. Norris, on the other hand, has acknowledged that the slow speed corners in Bahrain will play into Red Bull's hands, something he hopes won't hurt McLaren too much. In Bahrain, the track has fewer high-speed corners, which shifts the balance more towards Red Bull's strengths, potentially leaving McLaren at a disadvantage. As for McLaren's performance, Norris remains optimistic. Despite the challenges, he feels that they're getting the most out of the car in qualifying, even if they're slightly behind Red Bull. It's clear, however, that Red Bull's quickness remains a big factor in their competitive advantage. Ferrari's performance is another big talking point heading into the Bahrain GP. The SF25 has shown a lot of potential during preseason testing, but so far they haven't been able to unlock its full potential when it counts. Team principal Fred Vasseur has been quite vocal about how the start of the season has been disappointing, yet there is still plenty of promise to be realized. Ferrari will debut their new floor upgrade at Bahrain, and they're hoping it will give them the boost they need to be more competitive, especially after the struggles they faced in the sprint race at the Chinese Grand Prix. This new floor is part of a larger package of upgrades that Ferrari hopes will turn their season around. For Ferrari, Bahrain is the perfect opportunity to prove that they can fight at the front. Vasseur has made it clear that the team wants to run the car lower, for more downforce, but the regulatory limits on ride height make this a tricky balance. Performance is deeply linked to how low the car can go, and this is true for all teams, not just Ferrari. They're hoping that this new floor will give them the edge they need, but it's also a risk. However, within Ferrari, there's some internal disagreement about whether this is the right time to bring the new upgrade. Some within the team believe it might be better to wait for a more opportune moment, perhaps for the races after Bahrain. But the aerodynamic department believes introducing the floor now would be a step in the right direction. This is just the first part of a bigger upgrade, with more changes expected in Miami. The hope is that the team can stabilize the balance of the SF25 before committing to these aerodynamic shifts. Meanwhile, Lewis Hamilton has been eager to test the new upgrades on his Mercedes after a rather underwhelming performance in the first few races of the season. Reflecting on his experience in Suzuka, Hamilton expressed cautious optimism for Bahrain. "I'm happy I moved forwards. I'm really hoping in the next race we'll see some positive changes," he said. The first few races of the 2025 season have been tough for Hamilton, with noticeable discrepancies in performance across the two sides of the garage. Despite this, he remains hopeful that the upcoming upgrades will help close the gap to the leading teams. Mercedes has been quietly working to improve their car, and although their expectations were low at the start of the season due to difficulties understanding the ground effect era, they have made notable progress. The team has already scored the most points in the first 3 races of 2025 since 2022, a total of 75 points. This puts them in a strong position to challenge McLaren for the rest of the season. Team principal Toto Wolff has stressed that Bahrain will be another key test to assess the progress they've made with their W16 car. The circuit's rear-limited nature, abrasive surface, and typically high temperatures will put Mercedes' tire management to the test. Looking ahead to the Bahrain Grand Prix, it's clear that tire management will be one of the key talking points. The tough conditions, combined with the abrasive surface and rising temperatures, make this a challenging circuit for the teams. Mercedes, McLaren, Ferrari, and Red Bull all have their eyes on different aspects of their car's performance, and Bahrain will serve as a critical checkpoint for all of them. For McLaren, this could be a chance to finally break their Bahrain curse, but with Verstappen and Red Bull in top form, it's far from guaranteed. Ferrari, with their new floor upgrade, will be hoping to find the performance they've been searching for, while Mercedes looks to build on their strong start to the season. No matter who comes out on top, one thing is certain: Bahrain will offer plenty of drama, excitement, and surprises for fans around the world. So, with all the upgrades, strategies, and rivalries in play, what do you think will be the biggest talking point of the Bahrain GP? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And once you're done, don't forget to click on the video appearing on your screen right now.